Hi, my name is Jonathan and this is my Husky Skye. We've been living in our home on the highway for over 2 years now, traveling the country and living out our schoolie dream. Most people have an experience in like kindergarten or first grade where a teacher asks them like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I loved my bus driver. So when I was asked that question, given a little worksheet, I drew my bus and my bus driver, and I said that I wanted to be a bus driver when I grew up. I kind of had forgotten about that until I think it was 2019. I called my parents and I told them like, yeah, I'm gonna buy a school bus and I'm gonna do this crazy thing I've been telling you about. Obviously my parents freaked out, but later my mom reminded me that, yeah, when you were a little kid, you said you wanted to be a bus driver and now you're doing it. My bus was not cheap. The conversion, that is, the bus itself was like the least expensive part of the whole build. I think I paid like $6,000 or $7,000 for the bus itself. But the conversion, in total, I spent like $175,000 on it. And sometimes when people hear that number, they're like, holy shit, which like, yes, there's way cheaper ways to build out a bus and to live this life. But when I went into this build, I also recognized like, this is my first home and I'm going to treat it that way. It was absolutely worth the money that I spent. This is a Bluebird TC2000 bus. It's got a 5.9 Cummins in it and an Allison transmission. So this is the outside of my bus. As you can see, I got some cool little stripes on the side. Each of them has a specific color to represent something that's on the inside. This base color, it's kind of like a desert sandy vibe, and I feel like it blends in pretty much any environment. So in this first bay, I have my inverter and my batteries. I've got 1200 amp hours of lithium battery storage. The whole system is Victron and was designed by AM Solar. The second bay houses all of my fuses, my charge controller, the AM Solar SPS, pretty much every other moving component of my electrical systems. Third bay, and this is really the only one that's like storage per se. I got plenty of leveling blocks, chalks, things to make sure that my bus is level and not going anywhere when I'm parked. So this is the caboose, or the back of the bus, definitely where the most fun happens. You might notice we chopped this door down a little bit because my bed platform, it actually sits right here, but didn't want to sacrifice all of the space underneath. So I pulled the Starlink case out so you can get a better view of what's hiding behind it. The main thing there is my 100-gallon freshwater tank. It's got a mini boiler of sorts on this side, and then the heat exchanger and all of the ins and outs of that hot water system are there. There's a few other things to notice back here. I've got a hitch receiver, haven't used it yet, but in the event I want to tow a car or put a little motorcycle rack, I've got the option to. Also got a rear view camera, which for a vehicle this big has been very helpful. A big old light bar, which has been nice for backing into spots at night. Got a custom fabricated ladder, also made by schoolie.com. So this side of the bus is all business. If I'm going to a campground or somewhere like Bay Point and I want to hook up, this is the side that it happens. I've got city water inlet and my gravity fill here. I've got a little propane access door right here. Here we've got the dump valve for my gray tank. I don't have a black tank, so this is all just runoff from the toilet and the 2 sinks and the shower. This bay, which nothing real special going on in there, but those are the bus batteries. So here at the front of the bus, there's a few things worth pointing out as well. There's a matching light bar to the one that you saw on the back. From this angle, you can also get a really good visualization of how much we raised the roof. So that panel between the windshield and the light bar is all fresh forehead. We did a 20-inch roof raise on this bus. And you might also notice that I've got some fun little string lights that run along the length as well. Come take a look inside. So this is the front of the bus, also known as the captain's area. I did put in a nice air ride seat. Got a little wood piece on the dash here. These curtains, which are throughout the bus, they were made by my friend's mother. She does custom embroidery and upholstery and does expert work. There's also a couple speakers mounted up here. These are real nice while driving, and having the sub there, you get the nice experience that you would like driving a car. Got some art featured from my friend Brogan, if you're interested in checking him out, at Brogan Draws on socials. I put shoes here. I hang my jacket here. I sit here when I'm driving. I got a cooling little lumbar pillow. Makes me feel like an old man, even though I'm definitely not.
If you are building a bus conversion, I recently found that signaturesolar.com has the best prices on a lot of things you might need. They have 400-watt solar panels for cheaper than I've ever seen. They've got lithium batteries like the EG4 that are fantastic value. They've even got pre-charged, super efficient mini splits for sale. Check out signaturesolar.com in the link below and use my code JUICEBOX for $50 off anything you buy.
This is the control panel. This is basically where all of my systems come to live and be monitored simultaneously. You've got the color control here from Victron that brings all of the data in and out of my electrical systems. Just your standard marine monitors, little electromagnetic sensors for my gray and my fresh tank. These two are for the Rixon system. I don't have it on currently. All these buttons down here are either for heating elements or lights. Right here we've got kind of an entertainment center slash workspace. This is live ambrosia maple from North Carolina, a couple book match shelves. It is this height for a reason. I stand here and I work all the time, and this window provides a real nice view for my office. This also hides a TV. I'm not a huge TV watcher, but when I am in the mood to do that, this pops up, reveals a TV just about as big as the window that I've had since college. And this converts to a couch so I can get real cozy and watch something. If we could turn over here, we've got my kind of transforming piece of furniture. It's currently in booth mode or dinette mode. This is the position it stays in the vast majority of the time when it's just me in here. Table comes up, and these benches can also come out, so you could have a 2-person or 4-person booth. I've even had a little stool here, and we've got 5 or 6 people sitting around. So if we move on back through the bus, this corner, while it is also the coziest corner of the bus, is also Skye's corner of the bus. So this stove, it's a tiny wood stove. I use this every single day in the winter. It keeps the space incredibly warm and comfortable. I've had my bus parked and lived an entire winter at 10,000 feet, and I was extremely comfortable thanks to this wood stove and the in-floor heat. The tile in the hearth, it matches the tile on the stairs and the walkway, just like little accents thrown in there. The wood storage has been super nice too, because the tiny wood stove takes tiny logs. Even though this is a tiny home, this kitchen does not feel tiny. Plenty of counter space on both sides of the sink and to the left of my range. A real deep utility sink. It's nice that it's got this rail so I can have like a drying rack or cutting board here. And the appliances, you might notice, they look just like appliances you would have in your home, except they're apartment size. So instead of 30 inches wide, they're 24 inches wide. Still 4-burner stove, 2 racks in my oven. I got a nice matching microwave. And the fridge, I think it's 13 cubic feet, so still plenty of space inside the fridge and the freezer. The kitchen backsplash, kind of like the irregular looking tiles, they're actually Moroccan zellage tile, which is more of like a brick than it is a backsplash tile. They're real thick. But I put them in here because my grandma's actually from Morocco, and it feels like I have a piece of her in here with me. So just opposite the kitchen, fridge, pantry, storage space. I wanted some kind of open shelving pantry type stuff as well as a closed cabinet. So up here, I've got like your pretty typical pantry storage. This top shelf is probably the least kitchen part of the kitchen, but I've got my amp receiver here for all the speakers throughout the bus, both inside and outside. And then I also have my router for my Starlink. Skye is a 10-year-old Siberian Husky. I got her as a puppy at like 7-ish weeks. I was at my college internship, and a high school friend of mine that I played baseball with had posted a picture of her and said, "I love this dog, but I'm in over my head. I've had her for 1 week and I can't do it." So he was trying to rehome her, and I called him and was like, "Hey, take that post down. That's my dog. As soon as I get off work, I'm driving home to get her." So I've had her entire life, for the past 10 years, basically. She's my best friend. She's been my companion in all things, in so many chapters. She's taught me a lot and given me a reason to get my shit together. So very thankful for her, and I think it's a huge gift. So in these closed cabinets, I like to say that one is mine and one is Skye's. I'm sure you could guess which one is Skye's. This bigger one is all her stuff. Food, additive for her water, all the toys and treats and things that she loves. This top one is more for me. I've got extra seasonings, oils, knives, like that sort of stuff. So one of the features that I really love about my bus, and other people seem to like as well, are these arched hallways and the exposed beams. They're obviously faux beams, and they hide some wires and these puck lights. Now this is just a standard arch with some real pretty trim, but this one behind me actually hides a pretty sweet door. So here we are in the bathroom. So you might notice that both the bathroom and the shower are raised. They're sitting on top of the wheel wells. And I'd rather have that than kind of a step up and over on a side hallway. On the opposite side, you have the bathroom. It's the smallest room in the bus, but like I said, I spend the least amount of time in here. I've got like this concrete vessel sink with a little terracotta color found from this really cool gal on Etsy. And that mirror that's sitting above it also hides a medicine cabinet. So making the most of the storage that I can. I have a separate composting toilet with the urine diverter. Here, in the shower, it's a standard 4x5 shower pan. And this is the only part of the bus actually that doesn't have the beams on the ceiling, because when I step up in here, I am closer to the ceiling. If those beams were coming down, they'd be hitting me in the head, and we can't have that. But here in the shower, I've got a couple different types of tile, kind of like a large format on the outside walls, and then on the back wall, kind of like a smaller mosaic look. And then I put a teak shower pan insert on top of the like fabricated shower pan. I've got this like overhead spa shower head from Nebbia and Moen. Welcome to the bedroom. I have a queen mattress up here. It's kind of lofted, if you would call it that. People always ask how I get up here. I have a stepping stool, but if I'm in the mood, I will run and jump. It's also sitting on like a coconut core matting to help prevent mold and moisture. So one other feature of my bedroom that I really love, other than the dresser and the storage space, is this particular part right here. So this is like a shoe closet that became the shoe closet and the library and the archive of my journals, and also just miscellaneous storage. Having a standing closet was something that I didn't necessarily need, but I really wanted, and we found a way to make it happen. So they open up fully like this. They also open and fold like that, so I'm not boxing myself in right here. But I got tons of coats and like dress shirts and nice things hung up here. And then in these drawers, I've got like, this is like my warm drawer. It's all sweaters and wintry stuff. And then this bottom one is extra blankets, towels, sheets, and that sort of thing. When I was 10 years old, I got my first skateboard. I started standing sideways at 10 years old, 20 years ago, and it's been a huge part of my life ever since. Standing sideways and falling over and over and over and over again for fun. You're literally failing repeatedly for fun. And when you finally land that trick or figure out that thing that you're doing, it changes something in you. And it's a huge metaphor for life, and how no matter what happens to you and how many times you get kicked down, or how many times you might even be critical of yourself and beat yourself up, you can try again. Truly, I think that I work out, I eat well, and I take care of myself so that I can keep falling for as long as possible and get back up. And I hope to be doing it for a very long time. So when it comes to work, I do a wide variety of things. Primarily, I run my own coaching and consulting business. It's called Keep Going. We also sell apparel. This is one of the things that we sell, and it's my favorite one. But I'm a certified life coach. I'm a certified snowboard coach. I have been a small business consultant on a large corporate scale, also to a small startup scale. And if all goes according to plan, this winter I will also be coaching at Mount Bachelor. Welcome to the roof. In front of me, poking through the deck, we have the Max Air fan. There's a Dometic rooftop air conditioner there, and one behind me. On this side, we've got the flue for my tiny wood stove, which is currently capped, but in probably 3-4 weeks here, I'm gonna put on the actual wood stove cap so I can use it. On this side of me, we got my Starlink pointed, I assume, at Elon, and then there's 1,200 watts of solar panels on the front. This deck is actually composite decking from Trex, and it's mounted on an 80/20 aluminum railing system on schoolie.com swivel feet. I feel real safe and secure up here. I've had 15-20 friends up here with me at Bonnaroo before, and it's solid. And I trust Luke and the team that put it up here. Something I'd like to add, because I know what it looks like in here, I know how my life feels now and what game of comparison the internet plays. Nothing is perfect. Not in here, not in my life, not anywhere. Perfection is not real, and it's not something that you're going to find. But I'm saying this because there was plenty of points in my life, including during this bus build, where I just didn't want to be here anymore. And I didn't necessarily have a plan, but I had decided that I wanted to give up and that nothing coming next was going to be worth it. I'm glad I was wrong, I'm glad I didn't do anything about it, and I'm very thankful I chose to keep going. So if I were to talk to younger Jonathan, the version of me that was dreaming this up and kind of planning for it and working towards it, or to anybody out there that's thinking of bus life, van life, just a life on the road, I think the number one piece of advice I would give is to keep going, to keep dreaming, and to pursue this thing that you can't stop thinking about. Thanks for joining me today and taking a tour of my mobile dwelling. If you have any desire to find me online or learn more about my business, you can go to jonathanperera.com, or you can search at the Jonathan Perera on Instagram. If you just want to learn more about the bus, you can go to homeonthehighway.com. That's homeonthehwy.com. Also on Instagram, homeonthehighway HWY.